Well, guys, I want to get back to something because you had set me up for a beautiful segue, and then we started jabbering about something else. So, when you guys got to talking about staying on an island all by yourself or quarantining yourself on an island, there are two lucky South African people who are just hanging out on a beautiful island in the Maldives right now after their honeymoon kind of went belly up on them, or did it, I guess. But they're stuck on an island where they were having their honeymoon after they got married because they can't get back to South Africa due to all the travel restrictions. So they've been living it up, hanging out, being the only guests on a 5-star resort in a tropical island, being apparently served dinner, drinks, entertainment. The entertainers have been putting on shows for them every evening. What do you take? What's your take on this, guys? I would love it personally. Apparently, they were getting a little bored with it.
All the snorkeling and fine dining, and I read the article. I thought one of the funnier things was that when it got down to shit or get off the pot time to get off the island, they could have chartered like a 1.5 hour speedboat back to South Africa. And then there was another one where they some of the guests could have chartered a yacht to the tune of like $400,000, but they had to pay for it.
I have that part right here because I actually had that highlighted. So in the middle of all of this couple reached out to obviously the South African embassy, and they were like, "Hey, help us! We're trying to get home." And South Africa was like, we don't really care all that much. You're in a tropical island. So the option they were given was that they could charter a private jet. It would cost $104,000 US, but they would have to split it amongst the 40 South Africans that were spread amongst the Maldives at the time that this all shut down. So that was the option given to them by their country. The great South nation of South Africa was like, I mean, you could link up with 40 strangers who are from the same country as you and maybe charter a private jet for $100,000. Figure it out. Let us know.
It would have cost them. It would have cost them. I think if they got everybody on board, it would have cost them $2,500 a piece to fly back, which is fairly reasonable, I guess. But $2,500 to go back to a land that's being ravaged by an unknown virus with no vaccine, possibly not have your job when you get home, or stay and have Miguel fill up your water glass every time you take a sip. So I think I'm going with Miguel. Fill up my water glass. But this comes back to that whole thing with me going back to work tomorrow after being off for a week and actually kind of looking forward to it. At what point does paradise become like a living hell when every day you just try to walk out to the beach and Rodrigo's like, hey, snorkeling, come on. Mr. Fox, come on, we're ready to go. It's like, God damn it. I feel like this is one of those, this is like a setup for a horror movie just waiting to happen.
It does sound like it. I think the worst part about it too is that because these were the only two, and slowly like people from other countries started leaving, and then the staff, because the Maldives rule is that they have to stay there. Government regulations make the employees stay there for 14 days after the last guest depart. So these motherfuckers, I'm sure, just working like any other waiter or bartender or hostess, just trying to go home, trying to not get the coronavirus as they cater hand and foot to two South African rich kids stuck in the Maldives.
And you had talked about the $2,500 per person. For frame of reference, she's a teacher and he's a butcher. So I know that they're swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck, but perhaps that was a little too much. And yeah, this reminds me of, and I don't know how well you guys remember Groundhog Day, but Bill Murray, Phil says there was a day he was on the beach somewhere, he met a girl, they drank pina coladas, they got drunk, he made love. Why couldn't he relive that day over and over and over again? This is it.
It does. It seems like it on the surface, but with all those workers just eyeballing you, they're all waiting to get their palms greased a little bit for every little action they take, and they're waiting hand and foot. I feel like there would be all this undue pressure to hand out dollar bills for every step you take on that island that it would just drive you bonkers. You got eyeballs on you all day too. It's almost like your own Truman Show, and you're Truman, and you're Truman and the show, and you're aware of both.
And I actually reading this, it says the couple considered taking an hour and a half speedboat ride to the main island, tried their luck at the airport, but at that point, Maldives had announced their own country lockdown. But yeah, God, an hour. Think of that adventure, an hour and a half.
What's the mainland of the Maldives like? You're in Southeast Asia, right? So I'm assuming everything's insane.
I think you're in the middle of the Indian Ocean, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And I think the Indian Ocean is like the roughest water in all the land.
The planet. Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel bad for them, but at some point, couldn't they all just have a conversation and just be like, all right, guys, listen, I appreciate you filling up my water glass every night, but we're just a couple of chaps. We're out here. We can't go anywhere. We're with you. Let's just go hang out on the beach, throw the football around for a little while. Okay. We're just regular folks.
Yeah.
Like, knock it off. Knock that shit off and leave me alone.
Disney get a steep discount too, which I wonder what that is, because they were paying $750 a night for a room.
Yeah,
I wonder what kind of hookup they're getting.
And that teacher, that teacher butcher income, yeah, they take a massive hack into that. I wonder if they've ran out a couple credit cards dry in their stay in the Maldives, their 45-day honeymoon.
Yeah, but just anything of any significance is Sri Lanka, and it's far away.
Hopefully they can turn this into some reality show or a movie or something, because yeah, you're right, that they're broke at this point. They're broke, and they're probably going in to deep debt just to live in paradise because they can't go anywhere else. But again, if you're going to be stuck somewhere, thankfully they weren't doing missionary work on AIDS Island in Indonesia.
Yes, it's some sort of goodwill thing in bumfuck nowhere. Just hot and rat infested place. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how quick. I do wonder how soon it would take to get old. Month.
I think a month if it's attached to my bank account. Maybe even 2 weeks if it's attached to my bank account. But if they were letting me just live free and clear, like, hey, look, the food's gonna spoil if we don't eat it anyway. We can't go anywhere, you can't go anywhere, and everybody just like lives like normal people, then yeah, that would be an island paradise. And I would make up news stories, and I would create a fake website. Look, coronavirus still going on, guys, and just try to retire there and never leave.
Man, I don't know. It would get boring, I think, after like a week or two.
Yeah, but you don't hear a lot of folks like clamoring to get off the island of Samoa, Yeah, well, I mean, if that's your life now, that's your life now. But I don't know. I feel like the biggest worry would be having to go back and re-enter like your actual normal everyday meat cutter snotty-nosed kid life that these guys are going to have to face when this is all over.
Yeah, but I also just to use your example, Samoa seems like a legit place. You know what I mean? It's got like stores, paved roads, things of that nature. I'm literally on the speck of earth that crested the ocean, and that's it. It's just it barely got out of the water, and now they built stick huts for my ass to spend $750 a night on, and that's what I'm not feeling great about it. I'm also not a big sea, ocean, beach guy, so I mean I should probably should have prefaced with that, but it would get tired. I would get tired of it.
Well, I don't know if I am or not because I've never had $750 a night to find out.
Fair.
How long until you build a raft like motherfucking Tom Hanks in that movie where he's on the island with Wilson? How's that called?
$750 a night, motherfucker. They better have a shed of boats for my ass. I'm not making shit.
Well, just to give you an idea of how rough it is, it's Castaway, by the way. I was looking at Google images of where they are, and they actually had to build like inlets on their own island so that the boats don't get destroyed from the ocean.
Yeah, fucking insane. It's probably beautiful. That's the other thing too. What's it take, like, to fucking 87 hours to get there? That shit's ridiculous.
What?
Like, I really want to go to places like that, but I don't know if I got it in me.
Well, because you can't just like go there. You can't land a commercial aircraft there. You probably have to like fly to like the Horn of Africa. You have to pay off like Naboo, so he'll give you his brother-in-law's rickshaw to ride out to the edge of the ocean, and then you got to take a bush plane, probably 100 miles over open sea, just to land on an airstrip that's like the size of your backyard. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to go, but not by those means.
Sounds romantic.
Just Google flights yourself to, like, I don't know, the Maldives one day and just see how long it takes. It's insane.
Charter a speedboat from California.
Yeah, no problem.
You'll probably be concussed 50 times over by the time you get there.
Dead before you get to the Indian Ocean.